Okay, this is another creepypasta reading by Julius Iscariot to K.K. Long. The Russian Sleep Experiment. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using experimental gas-based stimulants. They were kept in a sealed environment to carefully monitor their oxygen intake so the gas didn't kill them. Since it was toxic in high concentrations, this was before closed circuit cameras, so they only had microphones and 5-inch thick glass porthole sized windows into the chamber to monitor them. The chamber was stocked with books, cots to sleep on but no bedding, running water and toilets, and enough dried food to last all 5 for over a month. The test subjects were political prisoners deemed enemies of the state during World War II. Everything was fine for the first 5 days. The subject hardly complained, having been promised falsely that they would be free if they submitted to the test and did not sleep for 30 days. Their conversation and activities were monitored, and it was noted that they continued to talk about increasingly traumatic incidents in their past, and the general tone of their conversations took on a darker aspect after the day 4 mark. After 5 days, they started to complain about the circumstances and events that led them to where they were and started to demonstrate severe paranoia. They stopped talking to each other and began alternately whispering to the microphones and one-way mirror portholes. Oddly, they all seemed to think they could win the trust of the experimenter by turning over their comrades, the other subjects in captivity, with them. At first, the researchers suspected this was just an effect of the gas itself. After 9 days, the first of them started screaming. He ran the length of the chamber, repeatedly yelling at the top of his lungs for 3 hours straight. Wow. He continued attempting to scream but was only able to produce occasional squeaks. The researchers postulated that he had physically torn his vocal cords. The most surprising thing about the behavior is how the other captives reacted to it, or rather didn't react to it. They continued whispering to the microphones until the second of the captives started to scream. The non-two screaming captives took the boots apart, smeared page after page with their own feces, and pasted them calmly over the glass portholes. The screaming promptly stopped. So did the whispering to the microphones. After 3 more days passed, researchers checked the microphones hourly to make sure they were working, since they thought it was impossible that no sound could be coming with 5 people inside. The oxygen consumption in the chamber indicated that all 5 must still be alive. In fact, it was the amount of oxygen 5 people would consume at a very heavy level of strenuous exercise. On the morning of the 14th day, the researchers did something they said they could not get a reaction from the captives. They used the intercom inside the chamber, hoping to provoke any response from the captives they were afraid were either dead or vegetables. They announced, "We are opening the chamber to test the microphones. Step away from the door and lie flat on the floor, or you will be shot. Compliance will earn one of you immediate freedom." To their surprise, they heard a single phrase. In a calm voice response, "We no longer want to be free." Debate broke out among the researchers and military forces funding the research. Unable to provide any more responses in intercom, it was finally decided to open the chamber at midnight on the 15th day. The chamber was flushed of the stimulant gas and filled with fresh air, and immediately the voices from the microphones began to object. 3 different voices began begging as if pleading for the life of loved ones to turn the gas back on. The chamber was opened and soldiers sent in to retrieve the test subject. They all began to scream louder than ever, and so did the soldiers when they saw what was inside. 4 of the 5 test subjects were still alive, although no one could rightly call the state of any of them in life. The food rations past day 5 had not been so much as touched. There were chunks of meat from the dead test subjects' thighs and stuff into the drain of the center of the chamber, blocking the drain and allowing 4 inches of water to accumulate on the floor. Precisely how much water on the floor was actually blocked was never determined. All 4 surviving test subjects also had large proportions of muscle and skin torn away from their bodies. The destruction of flesh and exposed bone on their fingertips indicate that the wounds were inflicted by hand, not with teeth, as the researchers initially thought. Closer examination of the position and angles of the wound indicated that most of, if not all of them, were self-inflicted. The abdominal organs below the rib cage of all 4 test subjects had been removed, but the heart, lungs, and diaphragm remained in place. The skin and most of the muscle attached to the ridge had been ripped off, exposing the lungs through the rib cage. All the blood vessels and organs remained intact. They just had been taken out and laid on the floor, fanning out the eviscerated but still living bodies of the subjects. The digestive tract of all 4 could be seen to be working, digesting food. It quickly became apparent that what they were digesting was their own flesh that they had ripped off and eaten over the course of days. Oh. Most of the soldiers were Russian special operatives at the facility, but still many refused to return to the chamber to remove the test subjects. They continued to scream to be left in the chamber and alternately begged and demanded that guests be turned off lest they fall asleep. To everyone's surprise, the test subjects put up fist fight in the process of being removed from the chamber. One of the Russian soldiers died from having his throat ripped out, another was gravely injured by having his testicles ripped out and an artery in his leg severed by one of the subject's teeth. Another 5 of the soldiers lost their life if you count the ones that committed suicide in the weeks following the incident. In the struggle, one of the 4 living subjects had his spleen ruptured and he bled out almost immediately. The medical researchers attempted to sedate him, but this proved impossible. He was injected more than 10 times the human dose of a morphine derivative, derivative and still fought like a cornered animal, breaking the ribs and arm of one doctor when the heart was to be seen for what is it for was seen to be for a full 2 minutes after he had bled out to the point that there was more air in his vascular system than blood. Even after it stopped, he continued to scream and fail for another 3 minutes, struggling to attack anyone in reach and just repeating the word more over and over, weaker and weaker, until he finally fell silent. The surviving 3 test subjects were heavily restrained and moved to a medical facility. The 2 with intact vocal cords continuously begging for the gas, demanding to be kept awake. The most of the 3 was shut up. The most injured of the 3 was taken to the only surgical operating move. What? He was alright. That the facility had, in the process of preparing his subject to have his organs placed back between his body, it was found that he was effectively immune to the sedative they had given him to prepare him for the surgery. He fought furiously against his restraints when the anesthetic gas was brought out to put him under. He managed to hem most of the way through a 4-inch white leather strap on one wrist, even though the weight of a 200-pound soldier holding that wrist as well. It took only a little more anesthetic than normal to put him under, and and the instant his eyelids fluttered and closed, he heart stopped. In the autopsy of the test subject that died on the operating table, it was found that his blood had tripled the normal level of oxygen. His muscles that were still attached to his scalp were badly torn and broken. 9 bones in struggle to not be substituted. Most of them were from the force his own muscles had settled on them. The second survivor had been the first of the group of 5 to start screaming. His vocal cord destroyed. He was unable to beg or object to surgery, and he only reacted by shaking his head violently in disapproval when the anesthetic gas was brought near him. He shook his eyes when he shook his head, yes, when someone suggested reluctantly that he try surgery without anesthetic and did not react for the entire 6-hour procedure of replacing his abdominal organs and attempting to cover them with what remained of his skin. The surgeon presiding stated repeatedly that it should be medically impossible. Fucking hell, shut up, Toshiba. Patient still be alive. One terrified nurse assisting the surgery stated that she had seen the patient's mouth curl into a smile several times whenever his eyes met hers. When surgery ended, the subject, looking at the surgeon, began to wheeze loudly and then top while struggling, assuming this must be something drastic. Small importance. The surgeon had a pin and a pad fetched so the patient could write. Imagine it was simple, keep cutting. The other two subjects were given the same surgery, both without anesthetic as well. Although they had been shadowed with paralytic for the duration of the operation, the surgeon found it impossible to perform the operation while the patients laughed continuously. Once paralyzed, the subjects could only follow the attending researchers with their eyes. The paralytic cleared that season in an abnormally short period of time, and they were soon trying to escape their bonds. The moment they could speak, they were again asking for a stimulant gas. The researchers tried asking why they are injured, so why they reached out the gut, and why they wanted to be given the gas again. The only response was given, I must remain awake. All three subjects' restraints were reinforced, and they were placed back in the chamber awaiting termination. To what should be done with them, the researchers facing the wrath of the military benefactors finally failed the stated goals of the project considered utilizing the surviving subjects. The commanding officer at SKGB instead saw potential and wanted to see what happened if they put back on the gas. The researchers strongly objected but overruled. Preparation for seeing the chamber. Again, one of the subjects were connected to the ACG monitor and had their restraints padded for long-term confinement. To everyone's surprise, Audrey stopped struggling. The moment it was asleep, they were going back on the gas. It was obvious that at this point, all three were putting out a great struggle to stay awake. One suggests that the speed was humming loudly and continuously. The main subject was straining his legs against the leather bones with all his might. First left, then right, then left again, starting to focus on the main subject was holding his head off the pillow and blinking rapidly. Having been the first to be wired for EEG, most of the researchers were monitoring his brain waves in subject. They were normal most of the time, but sometimes flatlining inexplicably. It looked as if he was suffering brain death before returning normal. As he focused on paper, scrolling out his brain monitor, one was when he saw his eyes slip shut. The moment he hit his brainwaves immediately changed to that of deep sleep, then flatlined for the last time and his eyes simultaneously stopped. Fucking hell. The only subject that could speak started screaming to be seated in now. The brainwaves showed the same flat lines as one who just died falling asleep. The commander gave 3 the audience same his was to seal the chamber with both subjects inside as well as 3 researchers. One unnamed 3 immediately drew his gun and shot the commander point blank between his eyes, then turned the gun on the mute subject and blew his brains out as well. He pointed his gun at the remaining subject, still restrained to a bed as the remaining members of the medical and research team fled the room. I won't be locked in here with these things, not with you, he screamed as the man strapped to the table. What are you? He demanded. I must know the subject. Smart, have you forgotten so easily? The subject asked. We are you. We are the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread. The researcher paused, then aimed at the subject high fire. The EEG flatlined and the subject really choked out, so nearly free. Wow, okay, goodbye.